This is one of them, the things not to do on Isla Holbox. In this video, I'm sharing with you things not to do and what to do instead, so you can have the best time possible on this amazing island coming up.
Swimming with the whale sharks, should you actually do it? Absolutely, it's one of the most popular things to do, but don't come to Holbox Island thinking you can do it anytime. There's a specific time of year in which the whale sharks come through to feed, and that's mainly in the July and August time frame. So many people came not realizing it doesn't happen year round. So there is a longer period, but the key months are July and August. So if this is something you want to do, make sure you're there during these months. And by the way, if you're new here, yo, I'm Christine Lozada with Where in the World is Seattle. I make travel videos every week till we get up, get and go travel. So if you like to travel, consider subscribing. I love Isla Holbox. I was here in 2021. I'm excited to return this year. This island has changed a lot, and I want to give you the helpful tips to have the best time possible. And the next thing that I learned is that I was wrong. I thought the key months to be here was during the winter time. I was here in February 2024, and I regret not being here during the summer. We will talk at length about why the summer months are key for this specific part of Mexico, but I missed out on a lot of things. One of them, which is the key reason why I was here, was to spend a lot of time in the water. The water is way cooler during these months. Yes, 75 degrees, so depending on where you're coming from, it's a nice temperature, but compared to the summer months where it's so nice to be in the water all day, I barely went in. And going to, which don't miss this, go to Yalahau, the cenote, go on the 3 Islands tour. One of my favorite tour operators is linked below. I love VIP tours. I love hanging out with Willie. He is the man. And they will take you to Yalahau on a boat where you will get into the cenote, which is always cool year round, but if you're going in the morning and it's cool outside and cool in Yalahau, it's gonna be yalla cold, man. You know what I mean. The next thing not to do, don't think that just because this island looks really big on the map, don't think it's all accessible to you. And so let's pull up a map really quick and talk about it. The main part of Holbox Island that the tourists go to is here in this area of the downtown. Yes, there are properties that kind of extend down and then extend to the east. After Punta Mosquito, you're not allowed to pass this point unless you're maybe on a private tour on a private boat. And so the entire other side of the island is just protected. And so the actual part of Holbox Island that you will be exploring is actually very small. The next thing not to do on this island, and I made this mistake the first time I went there, I was like, must have a beachfront hotel. I will never ever stay at the Dream Hotel again. And if you want my honest review and what that was like, you can check out the other video linked in the description below. It was fine. Is it worth the amount you have to pay for that property? Now it's cost significantly more? Absolutely not. But I will say there are lots of new developments. There's lots of new cool vibey hotels, especially as you head east on the island, but you will pay a premium of likely $200 to $300 or more per night for these types of hotel rooms. I have a helpful blog post that will break down a lot of these properties in the description below, but as I was there, I was like, wow, I can't tell if I'm on Holbox Island or I'm back in Tulum right now, because the vibe of a lot of these places is really cool. And also, if you're wondering, should you be going to Holbox Island or Tulum, make sure you check out that video. It's in the description below, because you need to have the best time possible and make the right choice for you. But don't think you need to pay a lot of money for a hotel. I actually opted to stay off the beach, and this time I stayed at Hotel Casa Barbara. It was such a lovely stay. I paid around $100 a night, all in with taxes and breakfast included. Nacho was my man every morning at breakfast, and I had a very lovely stay at this property, and I definitely recommend it. So you can check out their latest rates in the description below, and don't forget about that helpful blog post as well. The next thing not to do, and this is kind of an important one, because on Isla Holbox, one of the most magical experiences you can have is the endless sandbar. Oh, so beautiful, really, really nice, and something you 100% should do, and spend a beach day on the sandbar. But don't go during high tide because the sandbar might not exist during that time. And so keep an eye on the tide calendar and try to go hang out at the sandbar at the right time of day. And if you're wondering where the heck is the sandbar or the best part of it, I actually have two recommendations. One is kind of north going toward Punta Mosquito. That's a really nice one. And the other one, which you can get to by boat only, when I return to Isla Holbox, I will get a private boat to take me to the one that's on the other side near Punta Coco. And so those two sandbars are, in my opinion, the best ones on the island, which, by the way, if you have helpful tips, make sure you add them in the comments below because we're all a community. And like I said, I'm returning and would love to use your helpful tips. And don't forget to cheers that like button if you're getting some value out of this video. But let's talk about this next important one. Wait, I'm not ready for the next one. Crabs. There are these like really cool crabs on the sandbar, but it also means don't step on the crabs. I actually think it's helpful to have water shoes walking on the sandbar. A lot of people don't really care about that kind of stuff in terms of like, you know, squishy, kind of muddy, gross things to walk on and potentially sometimes stepping on shells and crabs. But if that's something where you're like, eee, then wear some water shoes. The next thing not to do, timing wise, on two things for bioluminescence. One, it's confusing because bioluminescence looks best on Isla Holbox when the moon has set, which is a different time every day, right? So sometimes you'll go on this tour at midnight. The first time I went on this tour, I think it was 3 or 4 a.m. And this latest time, I got picked up at 1:25 in the morning to go on this tour. And so the thing about that though is 1:25 a.m. is the next day, right? So as you're booking this tour, just keep that in mind because a lot of people try to show up on the wrong day for their tour and don't miss out on your tour or wake up or stay up very late if you don't need to. The other thing, going back to that July-August timeframe, you will see more bioluminescence if you go during that time. This is just a hard thing to film. I mean, it's really neat. You will see it year round, but it's not gonna be the glowing water that a lot of people imagine if you don't go during those key months. One of the things I enjoyed the most about my bioluminescence tour this time, last time I got into the water, this time it was off of a kayak going to the sandbar and enjoying it, is that you have the entire beautiful night sky and looking at the constellations and just having all the stars under the sky. Our tour guide helped us to just get a tour of the constellations, and that was really, really beautiful. But don't go on the wrong day for your tour, and if you want a lot of bioluminescence, consider that summertime time frame. Ooh, the next thing not to do, I don't really want to talk about this one because I'm gonna get a little bit hangry. Don't think that the food sucks on this island. The food is actually really awesome. I'm gonna name a couple of my favorites. One is a new one since I was last on the island, Baba. A really cool little casual spot serving delicious breakfast and lunch items with a really tasty shrimp burrito. That was awesome. This place is constantly packed out, really good reviews. I also love, as this one's been there for a while, Artisan. I'm not even vegan or vegetarian, but it's a fantastic breakfast lunch spot. Their super lattes are delicious. Okay, now I'm drooling. I love these two spots. If you need a break from Mexican food, the pizza at Cronica's, amazing. Same owner as Clandestino, fantastic coffee and avocado toast. Definitely drooling a lot now. Whew. One spot that I always love is Basico, really good vibes. And actually, speaking of vibes, Lazaro, which is the wine bar / restaurant that's on the second level. That's a really good spot if you want really good, like fun hip hop vibes in a Tulum-like space with some really delicious wine on the menu. Love all of those spots. Add your comments below. And more restaurants that I recommend are in the blog post. Ooh, speaking of food, don't drink the water. A lot of people ask like, oh, well, I'm sure it will be fine. Like, can I at least brush my teeth with the water? Do you, boo? You can take that chance. Don't forget there's pharmacies on almost every corner, but I don't take those chances, especially when I'm somewhere like Isla Holbox. I will not drink the tap water and I will not brush my teeth with the tap water either. Make the choice that's right for you, but there's no reason not to spend literally a couple cents on water just to keep yourself safe. Ooh, the next thing not to do, and a lot of people have asked me this question, they're like, ooh, like, is it hard to get there? Don't think it's difficult to get to Holbox Island. Don't forget to push this button. The thing about it is there's a way to get there by taking a shuttle. You can go onto a shared shuttle. I did a private shuttle through VIP Holbox, love those guys, where they pick you up from the airport and take you over. I'm not gonna lie, Cancun Airport is my least favorite airport in the world. And so if you show up not knowing how to get to Holbox Island, they will likely make you pay somewhere in the range of 4 to 5x more than you would normally pay. And so generally per person, it's around $99 or $100 to take a shuttle over to Chiquila. That generally takes about 2 hours from Cancun Airport. And once you get there, every 30 minutes, a ferry will leave to get to Holbox Island. That will cost you, the current price is 220 pesos, and you can only pay cash for that, and you pay directly to the ferry. And then you just get on the ferry and you get over to the other side, where depending on the location of your hotel, you will either walk to your hotel or you will take a taxi. It's not a car, we'll talk about that in a second, but don't expect it to be, crazy difficult. The taxi generally is around 10 US dollars to get to your hotel wherever it may be. And I believe in you to negotiate all the things, but that is generally the pricing that I have both seen and experienced myself. And on that note of taxis, the next thing not to do, don't think that you can drive on Holbox Island. There's no cars on this island, and there's no
paved roads. Are there paved roads? No, there are no paved roads.
It's really 3 modes of transportation. It's taking the taxis, which are basically golf carts or like dune buggy-ish type things, or rent one yourself. It's not cheap. It's generally around, depending, $120 a day if you want to rent your own, or rent a bike. But don't think there's bike lanes, and don't think it's like an easy bike ride. Depending on where you're riding at and depending on your riding level, right? Some people I've ridden with never ridden a bike before, so it's really hard. Other people, like myself, used to race road bikes in 100-mile bike races and did triathlons like I did. So it depends on your level, but it's not a straightforward, easy bike ride. There's a lot of potholes. There's a lot of stuff going on, but renting a bike can generally be around 100 pesos or $5 or $6 for 4 hours, depending on where you rent it from. Yes, the bikes feel like they will fall apart underneath your body. So don't expect the nicest bikes in the world, but these are your various options to get around. And obviously, you can walk. That's one of the things I love about Holbox Island. You can generally walk just about everywhere, unless you're going all the way out toward the final hotels, Las Nubes, for example, toward Punto Mosquito. You can generally walk just about anywhere. I take that back. I was traveling with Jessie. She's a New Yorker. She will walk for like 10 hours and be like, oh yeah, we can keep walking. Yeah, I can walk for like 20 minutes in Mexico and then I'm over it. Totally over it.
Like 100% over it.
Over it. The next thing not to do on Holbox Island, and actually I'm gonna give you a little behind the scenes right now. I'm currently traveling in Playa del Carmen and we actually have a lot of weather. It's raining outside. It's not nice out here right now, but it's a great place to be when it's raining in Mexico. Because in Playa, there's plenty of things to do here and lots of inside activities that I can go enjoy. If you're on Holbox Island and the weather is not good, depending on what kinds of things that you like to do, generally a lot of the activities on Holbox Island are outdoor activities. And so you can be very limited in terms of what there is that you can do. I mean, you should go get drunk at the bar all day or one of the beach clubs. That's a fantastic option, but it's not the best place to travel to if you're going at a time in which the weather might not be the best. So if you're considering going during a time of year in which it might be rainy, you might want to consider Playa or Cancun. You can check out this video that I'm filming while I'm here in Playa in the description below. The next thing not to do is don't miss the sunset on Holbox Island. They really are very, very beautiful. And I have a couple recommendations for you. Obviously, you can just sit on the beach. A lot of people like to sit on, I don't want to call them a pier, but the little jetties that are there. Holbox. I really love, maybe they pronounce it Holbox. I don't know. I used to pronounce it Holbox. No shame. Anyway, there is a rooftop that I enjoyed hanging out at. It does have a little baby pool that's nice to hang out at, but that's a good one if you would want to be somewhere that's kind of on a rooftop and enjoying the sunset. Another great one is being at one of the beach bars. I love Capitan. There's fantastic music, but a great place to just enjoy the sunset, whether from a beach club, a rooftop, or just sitting on the beach on your own. Don't miss it. Oh, speaking of Holbox, another thing to do is don't miss salsa classes. Antonio is fantastic. I will link him below. Make sure you ask where he's teaching salsa classes at. I had so much fun doing a class with him at Che Hostel. Anyway, don't think that the seaweed situation is the same as Cancun, Tulum, and Playa. And so I just assumed that the seaweed is bad in the summer for all of these places. Holbox is the opposite. Mind blown. I was disappointed. There is a lot of seaweed on the beach and it just makes the island look different and your beach experience. And again, it depends on whether you care about trudging through seaweed to get to the other side. Seaweed doesn't smell great. Seaweed attracts a lot of mosquitoes. I have 5,000 mosquito bites right now. I've been pausing these videos to scratch them, just so you know. Seaweed is a problem in the winter on Holbox Island. Seaweed is a problem in Tulum, Playa, Cancun in the summer. It's the opposite. So don't go during the wrong time of year for you, depending on what you care or don't care about for the seaweed. Don't pet the crocodiles, obviously, but don't in general. This is just a PSA. Don't touch the animals, don't feed the animals, don't take home the shells. Let the ocean be the ocean. Enjoy it with your eyeballs, take some photos and videos, and go to Holbox Island. It's such an amazing place. If you got some value in this video, cheers that like button, consider subscribing, add your helpful comment below, or consider Playa, or consider Tulum. Join me in those videos. Links in the description below, and I'll see you over there. I'm Christine Lozada. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you in the next adventure. Ciao.
5-star Uber ride.
Long taxi service.
Yes. Hola from Holbox Island. I'm so excited to take you live in today's video, share with you some of the things that I love about this island and things that have changed since I've been here a few years ago and why you should travel here next. Coming up, we're flipping live in just a couple seconds. Hola from Holbox Island. This is one of my most favorite places in the world. Why? It's a little bit off the beaten path, but soon to be one of the most popular places to travel in the Quintana Roo, Riviera Maya area. If you don't know where this island is located, it's actually north and east of Cancun. So on the Cancun side, where popular places around there are things like Playa del Carmen, Tulum is very popular. This is going in the opposite direction. So instead of going directly south, now you're going east and north from Cancun Airport, and you take about a 2-hour drive to get over here. And then you take about a 10 to 15 minute ferry ride to get to this island. And what's amazing about Holbox is that it's very, very small, but you can get some really amazing things here. Oh, that's my ice cream dude right there. He saw me the other day flying my drone, was like, you are a professional, because I caught that thing real fast coming out of the air. It was amazing. Anyway, I love this island because you can get some really, really beautiful experiences here. For example, this morning with VIP Tours and my man, Willie, we went kayaking through the mangroves, and it was absolutely beautiful. There's a really nice sandbar that's out here. You can see the beach is actually on this side of me. And so you can get a lot of natural experiences like that. Yesterday we went on a boat ride in which we went to 3 different islands, and we went to sandbars, we went to Yalahau, which is where you can get into a cenote. That's something very popular in this area, this part of Mexico that is cenotes. And if you don't know what a cenote is, it's generally a fresh body of water that is almost like a natural spring. It's probably the closest thing that people can identify with for a cenote. An amazing thing to check out, very specific to the Yucutan area and something that should not be missed. But the other thing that I really love about Holbox is that unlike Tulum, which is like, it can be kind of a scene in Tulum, it can be kind of difficult to travel around Tulum, if I'm honest, here it's very, very easy. Even though the island, if you look at it on a map, might look very large, it's actually very small. And so the actual part of Holbox Island that you can hang out around, it's probably, you could walk end to end, takes about 10 minutes, and the other end to end, you could probably walk through it in about maybe 20 minutes for like the major part of it, probably even shorter than that. So it is very small. But one of the things I've noticed since I was last here in 2021 is how much Tulum has had influence on Holbox Island. And so now you can get a lot of very, very vibey places. When I say vibey, actually we're about to walk past one, so I'll show you in just a second. I am OTW right now to a beach club because one of the things you can experience here are really beautiful properties on the beach that are very fun to hang out with, have some drinks, enjoy the beautiful views. And one of the things that's an issue right now is the sargasso. So is the seaweed. And so behind me right now is one of the newer properties. This is Casa Las Tortugas. We were going to come here for a massage, but they were book up pretty far in advance, but a very vibey spot that reminds me very a la Tulum. But we're actually headed a little bit west on the island to go to a beach club. We're going to spend the afternoon probably popping bottles of champagne, enjoying the views. Today's a very beautiful day. It's about mid-80s over here. Hey, what's up, friends? It's about mid-80s over here, and one of the things you just saw was a lot of these motorbikes and a lot of these like little buggies, because on this island there's no cars. So similar to Isla Mujeres, near Cancun or off of Cancun, there's no cars allowed, but there all are golf carts, and there's also like these buggies. A lot of people ride ATVs around here, or like me, we generally just walk or we ride bikes. But one of the things that's different about this part of Mexico versus Cancun, Playa, and Tulum is the seaweed. So the seaweed in those parts of town are generally, I just gotta introduce you to my travel friends real quick. We got Alex on the map right here. If you ever are looking for national park content, this is your woman. And this is Jessie on a journey who, oh my God, if you ever wanna be a travel blogger, these are your ladies. They're amazing. I will link their info in the description below after I have finished this live. But one of the things about sargasso or seaweed that ruins it for a lot of people, actually, I'm gonna turn this camera around so you can see where I am going. Actually, you know what? Guess who doesn't know how to turn the camera around? There we go. What's area is that the seaweed happens at a different time of the year than it happens in the Caribbean. So if you go to Cancun, if you go to Playa, if you go to Tulum, it's really that summertime, that May, June, July, even August, maybe September timeframe, that you'll start to see a lot of seaweed. But here it's different. And as we get closer, you'll see. But first, you see these very, very Tulum-y vibe, the feel that you get here at literally a quarter of the price of Tulum, though. So this is what the beach club looks like out here. You can tell it's a pretty windy day. Very calm this morning. Now, super windy. But on this side of Mexico, seaweed happens during the winter. And so because there were some recent storms here that literally flooded the islands, the seaweed has come in super hardcore. And so it's actually been a bit of a hindrance because it smells, it attracts the mosquitoes. There's a lot of not so positive things in this area. And so I'm not saying by any means will it detract from or ruin your vacation. That's not the case at all. But it is a different experience to have so much seaweed on the beach don't have to swim out, or one of the best things about Holbox Island is that here you have sandbanks, sandbars. And so going with low tide to enjoy those instead, or going out on the private boats, really is the best way to enjoy yourself. So I'm Christine Lozada. Tons of content about Holbox Island. I am going to, so behind the scenes, I'll be comparing Holbox versus Tulum and giving you the itinerary of things that you should check out this island. I'm gonna wrap this one up because this wind ain't no bueno for nobody here. And I will see you in a future adventure. All that content coming at you real soon.